The following video is an example of how we as members of the population in the United States and as citizens of this world and of humanity are allowed to contribute a little bit to the discussion on various subjects. This video will concern medical misinformation. It will present examples of how medical misinformation is promoted and is undetectable. It also will include exactly the same sort of wording for medical information. This is very important. One of my favorite quotes, writing a book and giving it to humanity is like taking an eyedropper full of your tears, taking it to the ocean and saying, here. This original work is published and distributed via any method you see it and any reinterpretation or retranslation under a non-exclusive license terms that permits unrestricted, this is in quotes, creative, in quotes, use, distribution, and reproduction in any medium. Is that an inclusive or exclusive? Is that a strong statement to protect myself, or is it giving people carte blanche? Only if you do exactly the following things under the agreement you are now agreeing to, unless you wish to be called out as a big poo-poo head on the internet by me. Let's just say that. You have to cite it properly. Now, what is a proper citation? Now, I am a YouTuber that unfortunately has to use mainstream media, news, and unconventional media to try to track down not a fact, but where a bullshit story came from. Obviously, people are going to go out of their way, if they're lying to you, to give you no way to cite it. They don't care. They're trying to create a buzz. They're trying to create a viral meme. They don't care about facts. So this becomes a major challenge. So to pass the sniff test, I require the following if you're citing me as a source for something. And if you're not aware of it, this is all of these, or if you ask nice, not all of these. You have to explicitly include, if you're quoting me or misquoting me or lying about me, the following. The time and date stamp that's below me, look over there, of when the video was posted. I want to point out YouTube and Google have gone out of their way to hide the publishing dates for videos to re-age them. Meaning, when you look up a subject on YouTube, you're going to see a video from 10 years ago that's hiding the fact that it was 10 years ago because YouTube wants those videos recycled. That's my claim. I'm sticking to it. Why the hell would you hide the time and date stamp? Next, the publishing date and timestamp have to be in this form that I'm going to give you because it's not ambiguous. It is the time and date stamp, and it's done in ISO format, so it's consistent, and it doesn't abbreviate the fucking century away, which caused the Y2K panic. Not learning from your geeks and technicians telling you don't do that means that you're actively trying to cause another catastrophe. Stop fucking doing it. By the way, this is also how it's done in the HTML and in the file system, unless they're run by psychopaths. Century is 2 digits. Yes, it should include another number in front of it for the time human beings have been a society. Century, year, 2 digits. Month is 2 digits, and the day is 2 digits. If you're not aware of it, that's literally 8 stinking digits. Instead of saying last Tuesday, L-A-S-T space, you get the idea. All you'd have to do to make it to where nobody can get confused is to stop putting in anything other than the damn date. And no, you can't use 2-digit years. Seriously, if you're watching this and you're complaining, fuck you. No, really, fuck you. Have you ever had to rationalize a database? Do you know what that means? Do you know why a human isn't supposed to have to rationalize a database? If your idea of a database is dealing with a Microsoft product, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, shut up. century, year, month, day. Period. This makes a non-ambiguous citation about when I said or did the video. If you can't find one, ask me. Next thing, everything I do on the internet, unless absolutely necessary, is going to include the century, year, month, and day. I literally did that on all of them. You know how you do it? You're editing your HTML in Notepad. Why? I'm going to bring up Notepad because it ticks people off. You hit the F5 key, it puts the time and date stamp up there in a format I don't like, but it's not ambiguous. This is the date it was published. Every news source that does not put up the time and date stamp in a way that is unambiguous at the top of the screen without covering it with some offer and demand of you paying money. If they don't put up the time and date stamp, they are not a news source. New York Times. Yes, for a while the New York Times refused to put up time and date stamps. Because they're assholes. Let's move on. The original title of the article or video or audio file as posted. Not the internal file name that could be a random string of characters and numbers like my computer insists on doing, instead of the time and date stamp I told it to put in. It literally found a way to fuck up time and date stamp because the software wanted to be clever. By the way, the programmer for it, if you're watching, when you did that to Open Broadcaster Software, OBS, where it doesn't use the real time and date stamp the right way, fuck you. No, really, fuck you. With a pogo stick. Anyway, time and date stamp and the actual title. If I change the title later, it's okay. It just means that you use the title as you found it. Next, to further unfuck the confusion factor, you also have to put in that I'm WapTek. Now, I have an approved spelling for it when being cited. Not what my channel says. I am WapTek. Those are 2 syllables. It's capital W-A-P, capital T-E-K without a space in the middle. I'm not going to bring up why. Just go look up with them separated which music video you get up. Okay? Now, I've been doing this for years this exact way when I am asked to be cited, but now I have to do it because, seriously, rap music. So anyway, now that means that the time and date stamp and that it's one of my channels or sources called WapTek. Next, the goddamn link to the file. The YouTube or Archive Today short. No, both. Archive Today will archive what it was when it's posted right before YouTube decided to kill off the video because I talked about pickles or whatever the fuck they're angry at me this week for. But it has to be the URL to the video, and the easiest way to do it is to right-click the video right now after pausing it and copy the goddamn URL, the short URL, and run that through Archive Today, either with the full-length URL or the short one, preferably both, and find the one that shows the title of the video, the time and date stamp has to be visible, and shows the description until YouTube finds a way to completely destroy that. Yes, they've been fucking with the user interface to the point that it makes me scream. And just like New York Times I complained about, I only know of once. I'm not going to claim they always fuck up the time and date stamp on their website that's run by an idiot. YouTube hiding the time and date stamps and sometimes the title and description or whatever else they feel like fucking with because they're bored is bad. Now, putting the URL, the short version, and archive URL for Archive Today, which is always a short version, means that you don't have an excuse. Obviously, just the link to the video is enough. And then you can use that to try to dig it out of archive.org and Archive Today. And I used to, on a regular basis, archive all my videos until Google and YouTube realized people were doing that so that they couldn't erase what you said when you typed out in the description. People like me put the whole video, in the description in some cases, which means they can't literally censor my speech unless they block archiving. Then a couple of court cases came up with some well-known actual mass murderers and mass shooting people that did videos on YouTube, and YouTube made it to where nobody could archive it, including the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice explained to them, blocking any archiver at all will result in us forcing you to not be able to block anything. Now, if you don't understand that, the DOJ, I don't remember if it was the U.S. government's DOJ or maybe some state's equivalent, but they literally told YouTube and Google that they were going to make them take down all of their aggressive code that prevents us from archiving and also prevents us from doing all sorts of things, and make it literally impossible for them to screw with our ad blockers. They had two choices: lose a shit ton of money in their mind, they're not losing a damn dime, and also be dragged into court, or just knock it the fuck off. And for a while, they stopped interfering with archivers. And then they went right back and doing it. Along with removing the time and date stamp, moving the description where it can't be archived, and generally fucking around with the website to make it as unfriendly and uncitable as possible. Along with censoring us, especially if we included a disclaimer, like I'm including in this video, and or citations that showed that we were citing the World Health Organization and the CDC. That if I say CDC and World Health Organization, I get flagged because I mentioned them. Because that's the authority they tell you you're supposed to be reading. They punish you for doing what they do under your video without asking. On a video about pickles. In the video game Rust. Pro tip, Google, Boopy, come here. They're not real pickles, it's a video game, you fuck nuts. Now let's move on. And yes, they removed it after I called. And yes, in the complaint back I said, you are fuck nuts. They still unflagged the video. They did not, but they included a comment. We don't appreciate the abusive behavior. And I responded because I can get away with it. I don't appreciate you censoring me because your bot's out of control. Do you know anything about Skynet? Now, normally this is under Open Creative Commons Attribution Access, some term like that. If you're not aware of it, especially some of you are people who don't look shit up, who scream loudly because you have political bias about a technical subject, what this means is that this is made available to the commons, but I retain some control over my work. It's my work. Obviously, if I'm rewording someone else's work, I don't have all the rights to it. I'm directly quoting something from the CDC and the FDA here, because they have a bunch of works that were done by scientists, and they included this. And they included that you had to include that citation. I don't require that. Now, I'm stating, if you want to reuse my work in whole, you have to include all of this. A URL to the video, a URL to the archive of the video, because I know YouTube is going to kill it off, and the fact that it's WapTek and the title of the video. Whatever title I put up. How to properly cite this video, or whatever I'm going to call it. And the time and date stamp. Why? Time and date stamp's 8 digits. The URL for the video is actually pretty short, but it's not that short. Let's say 12 digits. Another half dozen or dozen characters for the archive. The time and date stamp and such all are shorter than the name of the video and saying WapTek. You don't have to include the entire statement I'm making in the video or all the links. The idea is they can click the archive and hopefully, except for YouTube interfering with it, hopefully get all the links I include, if I include them. And also get a copy of the disclaimer so you don't have to include it. It's in a form of a meta citation of that data. But the main thing is you have to get my name spelled right, even if you're criticizing me, and the right name for the video. I've had people post faked versions of my videos where they inserted very carefully constructed horrible statements that I'm supposed to have made. And won't tell you what video, and told everybody to find and hurt me. In one case, someone saying to find and have me harmed or murdered. And that channel got taken down, but the guy wouldn't even give a citation to the video he's mad about. And it was a video talking about my day trying to get coffee. He found me cussing and decided to use those words against me somehow. Yeah, fake news, etc. Now, if this video has been helpful to you, please understand I'm going to make one more mentioning here. The Creative Commons citations that people use a lot of the time include wording that has been found to be used against the person making the video a lot. This is my version of it. I'm allowed to remake this. It's my art. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. And yes, I do disclaim YouTube's version of it.